Hey guys, today I wanted to show you how we make one of our more traditional soaps. This isn't an exact recipe, but it's a good recipe and I think it's one that you guys will enjoy. We're going to show you the different oils that we use in our soaps, and I'm going to kind of go through the process and speed up where necessary, but so we're going to start with our lye water. Alright, so the water, we're going to do 18 ounces of water. Everything's by weight, remember. Tare that out, which means set it back to 0. We're going to use our lye. You're using sodium hydroxide, and we are doing 8.5 ounces. Actually, just a touch below, 8.47 technically. Always remember, pour your lye into your water, not the other way around, or you'll have really bad reactions. Make sure to do this somewhere ventilated too. We have pretty good ventilation here, so it doesn't bother me. And then just mix it really well. I like to use a whisk. I think it always mixes things better. Mix it until you don't hear any of those crystals moving around in the water anymore. You can kind of see it clouded up and you'll feel the heat coming off of it. Once it's well mixed, I always set this on a piece of cardboard, scrap piece of cardboard, so that it doesn't hurt my counter. Scale off. So our oils, we're using, in here we have coconut oil, palm oil, and soy flakes. And the soy, you can use just about any decent soy wax. You just got to watch. If you buy it from a candle supply company, then you want to make sure you know what additives are in it and make sure that everything's skin safe. The stuff we get is pretty plain soy, just soy wax. There's no real additives in it. So, all right, we're going to microwave this. For us, now every microwave's different, but for us, these solid oils, to get them liquid, right around 3 minutes, and then let it sit for a couple minutes is going to make this liquid. So while you're waiting for your hard oils in the microwave to melt, this is just regular 100% olive oil from a big box store. You can probably guess by looking at the bottle. You know, everybody says that most olive oils, especially the less expensive ones, are a blend. I think this is pure olive oil, 100% pure olive oil. I think what it is it may be a blend of the better olive oils along with the olive pomace, because when this gets cold, it clouds up quick. Since the bowl and the microwave and everything was cold, this took us about 3.5 minutes to get the hard oils to liquid. But you'll get a feel for your own microwave. You just don't want to overheat your oils. Sometimes with the soy, if there's a little bit left in there still, if you just let it sit, it will still melt. And as you can see, we're using a plastic bowl. We're using a Sterlite microwave safe, BPA free bowl, and nothing wrong with using these at all. Nothing wrong with using the microwave either. Check out the rest of our channel. We have videos about using a microwave, different bowls and things like that. So, all right, so now we're going to put our olive oil in to cool this oil back down some. And in this recipe, it's 40.5 ounces, which for me, actually that'll work on this scale. We don't have to convert to pounds. Now that we have all of our oils in the bowl, lye water is getting clearer. I don't worry so much about temperature unless it's a really finicky, flowery fragrance. A lot of those tend to seize up really fast. My main thing is if it goes pretty clear, I know it's about ready, but I do like to let it cool a little extra. Get out our spatula for cleaning the bowl for when we pour it in the mold. Get our wand mixer. And what I usually do is when I'm done mixing, but right before I pour the soap in the mold, the water pitcher that I was pouring from, as long as I'm done pouring water from it, I keep that handy and I'll pull the mixer out and stick it in here and run it on fast for a second to clean the soap out of these blades and stuff, make it easier to wash. The scent we're making today is our Fougere. You probably can't see that, but it's basically, Fougere in French means fern, so it's a very green scent. To me, on the front end, when you first smell it, it sort of has that fresh, cut, wet hay or grass kind of smell, but then it mellows into, it goes through some floral scents, some woody scents. I'm not going to give you the recipe of how I make the Fougere fragrance, but you can buy all kinds of different fragrances. But in this recipe, we're going to do 4 fluid ounces, which honestly by weight ends up about the same. That's why I just go ahead and do fluid, because it's easier to measure on the fly. Okay, so our fragrance is in there, our oils are in there, and I just give that kind of a stir. Make sure everything's distributed. You don't really have to. There's a lot of things that you see in soaping videos that aren't really necessary. It doesn't hurt to do them, but it's not really necessary. We're gonna run this on low, and I start out slowly adding my lye water, and as long as the soap and oils are behaving, I can dump it a little faster. If it's acting kind of squirrely, then you kind of got to play it by ear. I've never made this fragrance into a bath soap before, so this will be interesting. You just never know what's going to happen with different fragrances. It could set up real fast, it could take forever. So I imagine with some of the fragrances we have in there, it's going to set up semi-fast. Remember to keep your immersion blender down in there so you don't splash anything. And we're not adding any color to this because we don't know what the color is going to do. With the bergamot and different things in there, it tends to have sort of a color of its own anyway, so who knows. It's sort of a tan color right now, but it could turn pure white. It could go sort of a brownish color. So we're just going to leave it natural and see what it does. You're going to mix this to a light trace, which means when you kind of drizzle the soap on top, it leaves a trail. Sometimes I'll pour a little sooner, sometimes I'll pour a little later. The heavier the trace, the more you have to mess with getting it in the mold and smoothing it out. So that's probably about it for me. This one's not taking long at all to trace. Again, clean the mixer head. Bring your mold over, and again, you can check out our channel to see how to line a mold. And just pour it in. Yep, you can see how it sort of thickened up kind of fast. So we'll clean it out. I like to scrape out as much as I can. A, I don't like wasting soap. And B, it makes it easier for us to clean the bowl out when it's not caked in soap. I should say it makes it easier for my daughter to clean it. She cleans most of the stuff here. I just try to make sure it's down in the corners and below the top edge of the mold the best I can. It doesn't have to be pretty. I like my soap to be a little rustic, which is a good thing because I can't ever get it perfect when it's this thick. And then I might just kind of do one of those. I feel like the happy painter on PBS, painting little trees and mountains. All right, that's enough farting around with it. It's just going to get worse from here. And that's it, guys. You can store this, you can let it sit out in the open and do its thing. The only thing with leaving it out in the open unprotected like this is A, somebody's going to stick their finger in it. B, it will ash a little bit on the top generally. I don't like cover and insulate my soaps. The most I usually do is I have this, I call it my soap garage. It's just basically a platform that the microwave sits on and the molds can slide underneath out of the way. It's just a space-saving thing that I do. So I usually just, and that I don't have to lift my molds either. So if the soap stays fluid, I'm not spilling it. I can just slide it right down the counter and into its little garage. Okay guys, that's about it. It's not real complicated. It's not rocket science. There is a little bit of science to it, but you can learn that as you go. I'll put the basic recipe probably in the beginning of the video, and it'll be in the description too. So come back tomorrow and we will go ahead and cut this soap and see what it looks like and how it's set up and how it smells. And also, if you got anything out of this video, if you enjoyed it, learned anything, go ahead and click like for me. And if you could, subscribe and click the little bell icon so that you don't miss any of the videos in the future.